Hi, I'm Ree from mummyof4.com. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing exactly how you can start journaling for better mental health. If you've seen any of my recent morning routine videos or day in the life videos, you'll know that I do some journaling each day. And I've had so many questions of people asking me to share exactly why I do journaling, what I get out of it, and how they can get started. Let me just start by saying there are no hard and fast rules when it comes to journaling, and there is no right or wrong way to do it. So please don't take anything I'm saying in this video too literally. This is more like a load of ideas that you can use, a menu if you like, that you can pick and choose which things you think will work for you. Don't forget, as we go through the options, let me know if you've tried any of them before or if you're going to be trying them out, if you're new to journaling, if it's something you've been doing for a while, and just share any experience you have in the comments. We can all help and learn from each other. The first step is going to be to choose where you're going to journal. Now, I don't want you to get too hung up on this, waiting for the absolute perfect pen and the perfect notebook. It's more important that you just choose something that you're drawn to and get started rather than waiting for perfection, which is often just procrastination dressed up as perfectionism. So you could choose a pretty notebook, just pick something that makes you smile, makes you happy, and that will encourage you to want to write in your journal. Choose a pen that feels lovely to write with. I've got to say, whether it's journaling or anything else, I do like an erasable pen. If you're like me and making mistakes just bugs you, because even though the journal isn't for anyone else and it doesn't need to be perfect, mistakes can still be irritating. So erasable pens, which I only discovered in my 30s, are fabulous. You write with one end, and then if there are any mistakes, you can just rub them out with the other end. Now, while I did used to do all my journaling in a pretty notebook with erasable pens, I have recently moved on to using my iPad and an Apple Pencil. For this, I use an app called GoodNotes, and I have one notebook just dedicated to journaling. Now, I do use GoodNotes for lots of other things in a more of a planning sense, so let me know if you'd like to see a full in-depth tutorial on exactly how I use GoodNotes, including how I import my printables as PDFs to use for planning and other things. Now, one thing I will say, if you want to use an iPad, computer, whatever, to journal, you do of course have the option to type on these devices, but it is generally considered better for journaling to physically write things out. It's a different level of processing when we're physically forming the letters to write things down than if we're just typing. So while I definitely type for all of my work-related things, when I'm trying to be more creative or in flow or journaling, sometimes the act of picking up a pen or pencil, either digital or real, to write out unlocks something in my mind and helps me connect a lot more with what I'm doing. So definitely give it a go, writing properly rather than typing if you're going to do journaling. So now we've decided where we're going to do our writing for our journaling. Now we're going to think about what is going to be the focus of our journaling. What do you want to improve in your life? Is there a goal you want to achieve? Is there something that isn't quite in flow, isn't going well, a struggle you're facing? It's good to have in your mind what you're going to want out of your journaling. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to relieve anxiety, feel calmer, feel more motivated? So as we go through the rest of these journaling ideas and prompts, I want you to keep this in your mind of what you want out of your journaling. And if it's not too personal, because this could be something very personal to you, but if you're willing to share with our community, let us know in the comments what you'd like to get out of your journaling. Now on to what we're actually going to write when we are journaling. The first way in which we can journal, and this is a good way to start if you're right at the beginning of your journaling journey, and that is just to brain dump. Now this doesn't even have to be in full sentences. It can be in spider diagrams, in sketches, whatever it might be. And just whatever is on your mind, get it down on the page. This can be a really good thing to do before bed, even if it's the form of lists for the next morning. Whatever is in your mind, if you can get it out of your mind and onto the page, then often we can feel a lot more calm and serene, not worrying that we're going to forget things. Now, if you want to level up your brain dump to the next stage, you can try something called morning pages. Now, this concept was first introduced to me by a content creator on YouTube called Amy Landino, who does a lot of work about morning routines, mindset, that kind of thing. But she actually learnt it from an author called Julia Cameron in her book, The Artist's Way. And what morning pages is quite simply 3 pages of whatever is in your brain, a complete stream of consciousness first thing in the morning. Now, as Amy talks about in lots of her videos where she discusses morning pages, this can be utter gibberish, but sometimes some really good ideas come out of this. It can just be whatever is in your mind, purely unfiltered. And if you do this first thing in the morning, often some quite good ideas can come out of it. One way in which journaling can be really useful is for dealing with anxieties, stresses, and worries. Now, for this exercise, all you need to do is to write down what is worrying you. And then you need to take a pen and cross it all out. Then underneath this, you need to write down all the reasons why this worry is really not a bigger problem as you're making it in your head. If you think of humans as we have evolved, back when we were in caves and at high risk of being hunted by animals or starvation or whatever it might be, we had a lot of fight or flight instinct programmed into our brains. A level of fear is still healthy even in this day and age to stop us doing ridiculous things that may endanger our lives. However, some things that previously may have put our lives at risk thousands of years ago are no longer a real risk, but we still feel that fear when they happen. For example, back when we were all living in caves, being ostracized from the group would mean that we would have to go and live out alone in the wilderness and would probably starve and die. So now when we have disagreements with friends or co-workers or family, we feel that same anxiety, that fear of being cast out, whereas actually it doesn't have the same level of risk as it did back when these things were programmed into our brains. So by writing out your fear or anxiety that you've upset someone or whatever might have happened, and then writing underneath why actually this is not a bigger deal as you're making it in your brain in the middle of the night, you can start to process these thoughts and calm down these anxieties. This is a really good exercise if you're suffering from imposter syndrome too. So maybe you're worried you can't start your own business, for example. So you'd write down, I can't start my own business. I'm worried that no one will ever buy my product or whatever it might be. Then cross that out and write down underneath all the reasons that this limiting belief is not true. Write down the skills you're actually good at. Write down all the reasons people would want to support your business and buy your product. And sometimes working through these anxieties on the page, crossing them out and rewriting them can be very therapeutic in a similar way that it can be when we discuss our problems with friends. The next way that you can use journaling is by writing out your goals as if they have already happened. Now this may sound a bit woo-woo, but bear with me here. Imagine a time when you've been thinking about buying a new car and then suddenly, wherever you go, you see that car on the road. You hadn't really spotted them before, but now they're everywhere. Is this a new trend where suddenly this car has resurfaced out of nowhere? Probably not. Chances are it's just your brain suddenly picking up on something that you have got in your subconscious. In this case, the car you're thinking of buying. By writing out your goals as if they've already happened, you're tricking your subconscious to look for ways to help you achieve your goals, even when you're not actively thinking about them. Now you can choose a set number of goals. I know Rachel Hollis talks about writing out 10 specific life goals as if they've already happened, and then writing these out every day. And there are lots and lots of business specialists that say that the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is a millionaire writes their goals out once a day and a billionaire does it twice, because the more that we write out our goals and we keep them focused in the front of our mind, the more our subconscious is looking for ways to help us achieve them. So what would be some examples of things that you can write down? I'm going to share some of the things that I write down each time I do my daily journaling in order to perhaps give you some ideas. Now the first one was actually an idea given to me by my blogger friend Katie from What Katie Said. And she said that one of the things that she writes down every day is, I am an exceptional wife and mother. Now what she said to me at the time was she didn't necessarily believe that in herself in that moment where she started writing it, but it's what she wanted to achieve. And that's absolutely the mindset we have to have behind this writing and goal setting style of journaling. So by writing, I am an exceptional wife and mother, every single day. That is what I'm trying to achieve. Some days I get a bit closer to that than others. Other days I feel like I fall short, but the following day I'm still going to keep writing that every day to hopefully trick my subconscious into helping me achieve it. Another example was something that I started writing at the beginning of the pandemic, and that's every day I would write that my family and I are safe, because that was a big word that everyone was using because everyone felt very unsafe. My family are safe, healthy and happy, because that is what I really want above all else for my family. Then we were all stuck in lockdown and everything got a bit tense with everyone perhaps bickering a little bit more, stuck under the same roof. I did add harmonious into that. So now I write, my family and I are safe, healthy, happy and harmonious when I am journaling. And you'll find the more that you do this, the more you can fit into your journaling to make it tweaked to suit your lifestyle. Another example could be if you have got credit card debt or a large mortgage, you could write, I am debt-free and mortgage clear, and then look for ways to make that true in your day-to-day life. I know after I had COVID, for example, I felt so drained of energy that on top of writing, I am fit and healthy every day, I added in, I am fit, healthy and energetic to my journaling, because I never wanted to feel that sluggish, awful, drained of energy feeling ever again. What is really important to remember when you're journaling is to write what you do want, not what you do not want. Unless, of course, you're going to cross it out and rewrite it as what you do want. By saying, I don't want to be in debt, your brain, your subconscious brain, won't hear the don't want to and will just focus on the being in debt. So by writing, we are debt-free as opposed to do not want to be in debt or have abundant income and abundant savings, then you are focusing on the joyous feeling of having that abundance, of having that security, rather than the dragging down feeling of being in debt. Another way in which you can journal is future scripting, and this is similar to the 10 things and the goals, but it's just writing about your life. Perhaps you could write a day in the life, what you do from when you get up in the morning, throughout the day, right through to when you go to bed, but as if you are your future, most improved, best self. So if all of these goals and dreams came true, how would that future you be? How would your home look? How would you feel in your body? What kind of clothes would you wear? You can write down in your journal exactly how your life would be if all of these goals came true, but do try to write these things as if they've already happened, and it really will help to trick your subconscious into getting you there faster. A really great way to journal is to write down your wins for the day and the things that you are grateful for. So these don't have to be the big things, they can be very small things like your child coming to give you a hug unexpectedly, someone letting you out at the junction when you were stuck in loads of traffic, someone holding the lift for you when you were rushing. Anything that's happened through your day for which you are grateful, writing those things down in your journal can help to reinforce that actually life is pretty good. And a practice of gratitude really does help to lift our moods and focus our energy on what's good in our lives rather than all the negative things. If you've had a bad day, one way that you can journal is to rewrite your day. You can imagine how your day would have gone if all the tricky, upsetting things that may have happened during that day had gone better, in order to reprogram your brain to expect better tomorrow. So rather than I got out of bed and stubbed my toe and then argued with my husband, you can say I got out of bed, felt refreshed, enjoyed time with my family, and rewrite what you wish had happened during the day in order to put you in the best place possible to have the best day tomorrow. You can use journaling to do free writing on an issue. So maybe it's a decision you are struggling to make about which path to take in your life, something that's stressing you out and keeping you up at night, an area in your life that you're feeling isn't going as well as it could. Just writing out all of your thoughts in a free stream of consciousness about this specific issue can really help. Again, rather than just writing out a stream of consciousness, you could go for the kind of spider diagram method to just brainstorm on a very, very specific problem. Once you've got the problem out of your system, try and rewrite your answers using positive language for solutions that you can implement into your life. Now, I do think it's very important to say at this point that if there is something in your life that you are struggling with, as much of a help as journaling can be for mental health, because it really, really does help me and lots of other people that I know when you're struggling with just little things that we have to face, especially as mums. But if there is an issue that is just not going away and you feel is really, really affecting your mental health and you're just not feeling better, please, please do reach out to somebody, speak to your GP, friends and family, because it is my absolute hope that while we're not terribly good at taking care of our mental health or even discussing it as Brits up until this point, it is my hope that taking care of our mental health becomes as important and as normalised as taking care of our physical health has always been. So if you need help for whatever it is, please, please take this as your sign that it is time to reach out and speak to somebody. Now, before we move on to the next journaling idea, let me know if any of the journaling ideas that I've shared so far are anything that you have tried or are thinking about trying, having seen this video. The next type of journaling you can try is writing a letter. Now, this could be a letter from you, your present self, to your future self. This could be a letter to your past self. It could be a letter from your future self to your current self, saying how wonderful and amazing your life has become and thanking your current self for all of the hard work that you have put into making your life so much better. It could be a letter to another person, either thanking them for something wonderful they've done, and I'm not suggesting for a second you actually ever send this letter, it's more for you to help process your thoughts. And it could be a letter forgiving someone for something that they have done to wrong you in the past, especially if it's something that hurt you. Often forgiveness is less about allowing someone back into your life that has wronged you, because perhaps if they haven't changed, they'll just do it again, but more about you being able to mentally let go of whatever happened so that it no longer tortures you. So writing that letter of forgiveness to someone that's made your life less than perfect could really help when you're journaling. The next type of journaling exercise that you could try is worst case scenario journaling. And this is where you write down all those fears that our brains tend to come up with in the middle of the night so that we can rationalize them down on paper or virtual paper if you're using an iPad. So for example, if you were to start a business and all the worries and things about starting that business, you'd worry that people would laugh at you for trying something they don't think you could do. That is a big concern for lots of people wanting to start something new. And then you think, well, really, what's the worst case scenario? Are people really going to laugh at me, or is this my brain just trying to trick me and keep me safe because there are not wild animals coming after me like back in the caveman times? But my brain doesn't know the difference. It just knows something new could be dangerous, and my brain is trying to protect me and keep me safe. So you can cross that out and say, that's not a real worry. That's just my brain trying to keep me safe. Maybe you write down you worry that you might lose everything if you started a new business, and then break down the reality of that. Are you really going to lose everything? What are the real risks involved in starting a new business? Worst case scenario, what would really happen? I just find that sometimes by writing out these worst case scenarios and actually analysing how likely are they to really happen, and what's the very worst thing that would end up happening if those eventualities did happen, it kind of calls it out into the light of day. It puts it all into perspective and makes you realise that most of the things we worry about are very unlikely to happen, and we shouldn't let these worries ruin our days. Make sure when you've written down these worries that you cross them out and remind your brain that these are not going to happen, and rewrite them in a positive way. This kind of exercise can obviously be done talking things through with people as well, with a friend, family member, or even therapist if you're really concerned about something. But if you want a way to process your thoughts alone, this can be a really handy exercise to do, even if you can't sleep because you're worrying about something in the middle of the night. Sometimes the act of getting it down on paper gets it out of your head, onto the paper, you can process it a lot quicker and go back to sleep. So I hope some of those journaling ideas were helpful. As I said, there are no hard and fast rules, but please do let me know which of those prompts you're going to try. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it that massive thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on bell notifications for notifications whenever I upload new content. More videos on screen all around me. Choose one of those and I'll see you guys over there. Bye.